This government has not seen the light. It appears they never will. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I call up Mike Sabin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That was a valiant contribution from Julianne Genter. I suggest the approach, the take down the leader approach, might be happening in the Green Party, because that speech was so technical and confusing it almost sounded like Russell Norman, and I think she might actually be making a play for Russell Norman's space there. And it's ironic, sir, that we're actually talking about being off the beaten track and off the trail, sir, as many of the vehicles that this bill will relate to is dealt with, because many of the opposition members, of course, are on that on that beaten track, sir, up the garden path, seeking the nomination, seeking the support of their fellow party members and the like, sir. Well, I'd suggest actually where they're actually heading is the big old road to nowhere. The big old road to nowhere. And the big disappointment for myself and the colleagues on this side of the House, sir, the big disappointment is that any good government actually relies on having a good opposition. Is that not true? That's true. Good government relies on having good opposition. The New Zealand public rely on having a good opposition to hold the government to account. Not to hold the snapper, in the House with a bit of show and tell. That didn't go down so well, did it? That gutted that particular member's leadership opportunities. However, there is a vacuum, and it's quickly going to be filled by one of the three, but possibly Russell Norman, because I think actually when we're talking Leader of the Opposition, are we not talking Russell Norman? We are. I think we are. I think he's made an outstanding job. Now he's got Julianne Genter on his tail. No, absolutely no, and he makes a stunning portrait as Mr. Cudlip. Sir, this bill that I'm sure will enjoy support from across the House, it's really about, while Darian Fenton laughs about tractors that can do over 40 kilometres an hour, sir, wouldn't do that if the member was standing in front of a John Deere coming down the road at 41 kilometres an hour, sir, which is pretty much the reaction I'm sure she would get when you talk to farmers about the importance of this sort of thing. And while it's a technical bill, and while it's quite narrow, actually it has relevance to a lot of people that are actually out there earning this country's way in the world. Sir, so while the opposition can trifle about the nature of this bill and the anomalies that need to be rectified, when this legislation, the 2002 amendment to the road user charges, was done, it's quite clear that's a very complex piece of legislation that goes back to 1978, sir. And so remedying the anomalies here that, while quite narrow, are quite significant, is actually very pragmatic. And while the union stalwarts over there will laugh and jibe about it, sir, the farmers around this country know just how important it is. Yet again, they can rely on this National Party actually doing for them what they were... Sorry, what was that, Annette King? I still am. Member of the Police Association. What's wrong with that? And I actually know how to drive a tractor at more than 40 kilometres an hour as well. How about that? I can use the front end loader and the digger bucket. Not too bad, not too bad. That's great. But that's what you have on this side of the House, sir, is you have people that are practical and about doing. On that side of the House, sir, you have people that are interested in doing what's in the best interest of themselves, and that's exactly what we're seeing as the numbers are starting to line up over there. It's a very interesting and fascinating contest. This is a good bill, sir. I commend it to the House. Fantastic speech.
I'm called order. The member hasn't even spoken yet. I'm calling Dennis O'Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are told that there's a need to